I just realized you couldn't hear me. Good morning. Happy Monday. Gap down on indices. How's the audio? I just got this booster right here. To boost it, it should sound a lot cleaner and not as quiet at all. But if it's quiet, let me know. I can turn it up a little bit. But it should sound way better. Let's pull up the charts here. Yeah, let me know how the mic quality is. I'm curious. You guys can notice a difference. You probably have to have headphones in to really notice a difference, but New York open in about 30 minutes. Awesome, Jimmy. Congrats. First payout. Let me know if it's like too quiet or anything like that, and I can turn it up. But it feels like I got a new toy. It feels like I got a new toy, to play with. This microphone. All right, so if you want to talk about news this week, nothing much. Nothing today, obviously. PPI tomorrow. Kind of a lighter week going into the rest of the week. So a bit of a lighter week when it comes to news. Carlson was sick, right along with Sketch. Yeah, the roads are kind of sketchy here. The drivers in South Carolina suck. But let's go over some charts here in a second. People kind of trickling in. We'll give it a couple minutes, and then we'll look at charts. Give it a couple minutes. Oh, sketchy places. Gold. Silver. Awesome. We got about 20 something people in here. I'm going to go ahead and do some live analysis in the next couple minutes. Kind of what I expect from today based on news, based on price action, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, no news today, so it's a light week in general. Hope you all had a good weekend, relaxing weekend. It's funny. I was reading this article about this guy who used to trade cotton futures, and he made like a fortune trading like cotton. And he was talking about how like how do you spend your free time? Like what do you do when the market's closed outside the charts? Outside of your trading sessions. And to put it simple, I think he summed it up pretty well. Like, all I do is just try and stay as relaxed as possible, like throughout the week, on the weekends, and keep myself happy, in a good state of mind. That way, when it comes to the charts, I'm calm and I can perform to the best of my ability. So I thought that was interesting because I feel like subconsciously that's kind of what I was doing as well, but just never really knew it. Like outside the charts, when I'm not sitting here trading or looking at the market in the afternoons and stuff, like I'll just go for walks, clear my head, get some sunlight, And I found that exercise like definitely puts me in the right frame of mind when it comes to clearing my head, recalibrating, and getting back to like baseline. Because as a trader, you don't want to be too high off the highs. You don't want to be too low off the lows when you take a loss, right? You want to be neutral, somewhere baseline. That way you can remain objective to what the market's doing, how you're performing, all those things. So emergency Fed meeting today. Are you asking me or telling me there's one? I don't see any I don't see any like meetings or anything. What's my plan for today? So what I'm looking for today, we got 30 people in here. We had this daily imbalance here on indices, and we had this gap down overnight. Okay. Across the board. If you look at the side by side here, we've swept out this low, or these equal lows here, off the gap down. And we're inside this daily imbalance. Right? And we've already kind of expanded to the upside some. So you can see, right, at 7 o'clock, we have a little, obviously, just off what I'm seeing, YM's the weakest of the three. Just because of this sell-off here. So right now, if I was looking for longs, I'd probably be looking at New York, or sorry, NQ. If I was looking for longs in New York, I'd be looking at NQ. If I was looking for shorts today, I'd probably be looking at YM to short, just off the weakness. But obviously, you want to see how we open. I bet we get a mixed open today again. You'll probably see like one of the assets go up, the other one maybe continue down. Just right at 9:30. As for gold, on the higher time frames, same thing, gap down. Gonna have some like equal lows ish right here. We swept it out a little bit, right? Not a run through it, just kind of hit it and nice reaction. But more lows down here. Playing these like gap days on Monday, you kind of really have no idea what the market wants to do, right? Because we've just gapped down into this imbalance. Generally, when you hit a higher time frame point of interest, like this daily imbalance here, you generally will see a reaction out of it the next day. Right? Like if you sweep a low, hit a POI, right? This day, like right here, when we had this super strong close off this imbalance right here on Thursday, remember the next day was Good Friday, right? So there was limited trading. But generally, when you have a reaction like this out of a daily imbalance, right? I'm looking for the next day to just go straight up, because you usually see that expansive run the next day following a reaction out of a higher time frame point of interest. So we could see the same thing here off this imbalance. But I like these equal highs as, long-term targets. Not long-term. Short-term-ish targets for the week. If you look at the weekly, we're in a candle 4. Right? We're in a candle 4 continuation now off the weekly. We just gapped down. So if I had to choose a direction, it's tough. But if I had to, or like one of my family members would die, right? Just from what I'm seeing, I'd probably look to long off these lows, right? Even though we gap down. Like right now, if I had to push the button to get in a position, I'd probably look to long. But since I am not in that position, right, where I have to do anything, I'm going to wait. Just based solely on the fact that we're in this weekly candle 4, right? Because candle 2 was your candle 2 expansive reversal off this low. Candle 3, right? Kind of consolidated early on in the week, Tuesday low a week, and expanded higher. Candle 4, looking for something similar to these highs up here. If we cut on the profile, right? Yeah, I would probably look to long in Q over anything else, just because it looks the strongest, right? YM sell off, NQ's holding. So that's kind of my 2 cents this morning. We're kind of just retracing into this overnight gap, filling it back in. As for things like gold, let's see here. Yeah, honestly, I'm not really seeing anything I like on gold. Same with silver. Oil had a gap up. Oil's been crazy. Like, look at the days we were having before this conflict. Crazy moves. I'm honestly just interested in the indices, just because the higher time frame structure is a little bit cleaner, which is weird to say, because it hasn't really been the case at all. But now we're kind of moving a bit, so that's nice. I don't see any what's up, JM? How you doing, man? Josh? Only emergency Fed meeting I'm seeing is some kind of AI found a bunch of flaws. Like thousands of flaws. Yeah, like this right here. 1 day ago. Is this what you're talking about? Emergency top bank CEO meeting over an AI that found thousands of flaws no one knew existed. I don't see any how to get the candles on the right side of my chart. This is an indicator. TTFM indicator. There's a link in my description of the YouTube video. The indicator that I use. And that's what these candles are. Just all default settings. But right now we got 15 minutes till open. $15 till open. 28. Let's see how we open. Mondays are usually, for me at least, slower. It's nice when you have a day like this, though. Let's see if I can find an example. Where like Friday already kind of puts in a swing point to trade away from, and Monday you can see some expansion, right? Let's see if I can find a day. Like this day right here. So Thursday creates the swing, like candle 2 closure. Make it bigger. Thursday, candle 2 closure. Wait, what is this? This point right here. Okay. Thursday, candle 2 closure off this high. Right? Friday, candle 3. And then you have pending lows down here. Right? To trade to on Monday. Now, it feels like a normal day and we hadn't gapped down, right? Even though we did, you saw it come down and take the lows out and then reverse off that low. So that's the day where Monday you could already have some bias for shorts to trade the candle 4 down to these lows right here. I guess this equal low as well. So that's nice. But think about today. Do we have that today? Not really. We just gapped down into a higher time frame point of interest. We're kind of like in no man's land down here. It feels like. But when you zoom out and look at like the weekly profile, sorry, the weekly chart, weekly candles, we're in this candle 4. And we swept some lows. So, and we have some nice clean targets to the upside. So if we're going to continue this run with the weekly candles and look to trade candle 4 expansion, we can expect it to at least head towards these highs, right? Yeah, the dollar. Yeah, zooming out the weekly kind of gives you some clarity. Sweep this high one last time. Expand lower. Probably expand lower into this imbalance here on the weekly. So that would take out previous week low in this low. So you have some kind of like weekly equal lows right here. For the dollar. And then this weekly imbalance. So let's see how we react off this high. Looks like we're going to open around this high right here. This is kind of clean. We go look at 5-minute across the board. 15. But yeah, I don't see anything interesting at all to get me in before open. And if that's the case, usually, and I'm not already in a position before the open and holding through it, then it's usually one of those days where I wait till 10 to kind of do anything. Why 10 o'clock? Because that's when the new 4-hour candle opens, new 1-hour candle, new 30-minute candle, new 15-minute candle, right? And by then we've seen some kind of like, 30 minutes past the open, give us some more clarity on like what the market wants to do. Hopefully my camera doesn't die like towards the end of the stream. If it's gonna be like a boring day, right? We'll probably just call it before 11. But if it's actually giving us some movement, that would be nice. Yeah, look at YM. Back into the range from this down move. Yeah. Gold's kind of been in this consolidation, like slow. I wouldn't say this is like a retracement, but like, look at the monthly candles. Candle to closure off the monthly. And we're kind of still respecting this 50% of the previous candle. So I liked how we closed off this high, right? We just never got a move off of it, but we had this gap down here. So maybe we do sell off, Maybe we're just retracing into this gap here to head lower. I'd be interested to see how we react up this high right here before we do get a move, right? Something like this. So that's what I'll be watching. Otherwise, we're kind of just in a consolidation at this point. That's gold for today. I'd rather watch gold. Yeah, when we talk about like the daily range, I would agree. You're kind of already expanded for the day. You've hit one side of it. You're at the other. We pop over at oil. Maybe look at NQ. Close to it. Those are tough though. That's just one. If I saw that we were at the end, right, and kind of hit the extremes of the last 5 days, in this market, it doesn't mean as much to me because we're news driven. So like one event can change that, right, and just push us past. We could run. So, but in a market that's like that doesn't have a lot of uncertainty and it's not very news driven, we're getting some clean action and everything's kind of behaving, quote unquote, properly. That's when I'll maybe give this daily range more emphasis in my analysis, or more weight, if you want to say that. But as of now, it's just kind of a visual to see where we're at. But just because we're kind of close to the last 5 days average daily range doesn't mean I'm not gonna take a trade, I don't know, let's see. For the past 5 days, it's 480. 556, 540, 439, 526, 469. So those are the last 5 days. When you add them all, average them all out, 480 handles is the average daily range. And today we've done 304 handles, so about 50 or 63%. So there's still some juice in the tank. And if we look at the volume for the last average daily 20 days, right? We've only done 24%, but that's because, we're not even open yet. Obviously, you're going to see a spike in that when we open. The general rule of thumb, like in a nice, strong market, and like a good day, a good clean day, I've noticed is you do around 50% of the volume. If you do around 50% or more by 10 o'clock in the morning, that's a good day on average from what I've noticed. But all these little tools are just little, it's like my barometer to get a read on like what have we done so far. And then you can, once you know that, okay, what can I reasonably expect for the rest of the day? I'm kind of liking this close above this down close candle here. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. Just this candle 2 closure here on the hourly, right? Yeah, it's looking good. Like you had this 5-minute projected swing right here, right? So I want to see how we reacted this high off the open. Maybe this hourly continues to expand through the open. You want to see how we react and close at 10 a.m. probably off this high. If we come back in the range, right, and then form some kind of structure like this at 10, maybe look to short, right? But if we kind of just expand and close strong at 10 a.m., maybe look for some kind of continuation. Yeah, 100%. But if you were like looking to target some stuff, I would probably target, I don't know, these up close candles here, maybe. Or I wouldn't maybe, I don't know if I would hold for these highs. I would look to target something like a fixed 2R. Maybe even 50% of the previous day right here. But if you guys are enjoying the stream, drop a like. Helps me out. Lets me know I'm doing a good job. We'll sit here and watch the open in 8 seconds. I'm going to watch it over here on the side-by-side so I can kind of see what's going on with each. Yeah, Monday no news with a gap down. Like it's 9:30. Let's see. There's that protected swing I was talking about on the 5-minute. We swept this high. YM's retracing that move. Gold's almost at that high. What's for breakfast? I don't eat breakfast. I eat my first meal at like 11-ish, 12-ish. I honestly found that I started doing that. I'm like way more focused in the morning versus if I like eat a bunch right when I wake up. I kind of feel like foggy almost, like not as sharp. Think about it like hunter gatherer times. Morning. Hunter gatherer times. Like you woke up and you didn't have food readily available, right? You had to go out and find it. That's kind of how I feel when I'm like in the charts. I'm like, all right, I'm waking up, like I'm hungry. Like we got to get to work, you know. So I sit on the charts and I'm like looking for my prey, right? I'm hunting for a setup. It's kind of funny. But that's how I feel about it. And it's like if I stay disciplined and like I got my 2 shots. What's up, French? Yeah, pretty neutral. Just this gap down. We've been tracing it. Yeah, I'm in tune. And you had this like 1 hour candle closure, right? Candle 2 ideal closure. And then you're seeing some kind of continuation off this protected low here. But my main focus is this high. How do we close on that? Do we come up here? Then at 10 a.m. Oh, wait. Wrong tool. At 10 a.m., do we close back inside? And then around 10 a.m., we have a candle 2 closure off this high. Maybe look to short, right? Or at 10 a.m., do we close strong here on this 1 hour candle? Put in a new protected swing to go higher. That's kind of what I'm watching on at least the 1 hour chart. 4 hour, not really much. This doesn't really mean too much to me. I mean, we can see how it forms at 10 o'clock. But the thing about this 1 hour candle closure, there's no POI that it's hit. I guess you could say these down close candles here. But I don't like using, down close candles or like order blocks as my POI, right? Because this low technically has dipped into this fair value gap. So it's, a valid protected low. And we've hit that opening price. But personally, I like using fair value gaps or highs and lows as my POI for a swing point. But that's kind of what I'm seeing for this swing point here. So we can watch and see how it plays out. Did I see Friday's low day as a POI? Yeah. But like for the daily chart, yeah. But when I'm just looking for hour like swings points on the intermediate term time frame, right? Because you have your higher time frame, you're getting your bias, right? Daily candle closures. Intermediate term time frame, which is like the high time frame candle you're looking to hop in and capture the expansion for, right? So like this one would be a 1 hour candle 3 you're looking to capture if you were long off this swing here, trading the wick, letting the wick form, then trading the body of it. This 1 hour would be your intermediate term time frame, and then your 5 minute will be your entry time frame. So when all 3 of those time frames align, and they all align with expansion in a certain direction, that's when you get those quick one-sided moves. That's all the fractal model is just aligning expansion across multiple time frames. I hope that helps. But yeah, who I can't remember who was talking about the emergency Fed meeting today. I don't see anything on my calendar. or on X. Maybe I didn't look hard enough, but like these 30 minutes are kind of nice, right? We're sweeping these lows here. And then if you go on the 3-minute, this 5-minute protected low is actually this low right here. Candle 4. Let's watch, right? Oh shit. We go back to the side by side. That's what I'm saying. Like, remember, I was talking about this high. We've hit it now. We're kind of selling off after purging it. 10 a.m. could create this candle 2 closure here. And then maybe we could target the low. We could just consolidate in this range, right? And so that would look, that would kind of say, that would kind of put us in this like broadening formation then, right? We're kind of in it right now. Higher highs. Maybe we start doing lower lows if we came back in the range. Yeah, and you got to remember, like, one thing you'll notice is when we do sweep some kind of liquidity, sometimes it likes to take out a protected swing before heading higher. So that could definitely happen because there is a 15-minute imbalance here and here, right? They could dip into and dig down into these down close candles right here. So personally, I want to see how we close on. Yeah, like this is a pretty shallow retracement compared to like the volatility that comes into the market around the open. Remember we talked about wine being the weakest though off this move. You have S&T at these highs now so far. S&T. So like I said, if you were going to look to short today, I would probably focus on YM. If you're looking to long, I'd long AQ. I almost like just almost didn't go live today because I was like, it's Monday, we just gapped down. Like, there's really nothing to like do, in my opinion. Be very cautious. Then I started thinking, I was like, maybe it would be kind of fun because we haven't gapped like this in a minute. Let's see. Do I have any TikTok social media account? I have an account. I just don't post on it. It's brand new. Funny enough, actually, someone like when I created my like handles, like username and whatever, I never like was big on TikTok, so I never created a TikTok account. Someone like stole my user as it made it their account. Like the other day, I randomly checked to see if it was available, and the handle was. So I went and I claimed it. Okay, so I have an account now. I just don't post anything. What I want to do is have someone, go through these live streams and find the best bits of info that we talk about, like the best lessons, maybe some trades that we take on here, and chop them up, make them into a video, and put it on the YouTube channel. Put on some shorts, maybe on TikTok or something. That's probably what I'll use that account for. But yeah, I'm more active on like right now. I have Instagram and X and YouTube, obviously. Yeah, TikTok's brain rot. I'll try not to really consume like any content on there. I'll try and like produce content instead, but we got about 20 minutes until 19 minutes until 10. But so far, you have this 30-minute imbalance here. It kind of lines up with these two 15-minute ones, right? Here and here. And some down close candles we could dig into. I honestly would prefer it to like sweep this low. Then around 10 o'clock, maybe this 30-minute puts in a candle 2 on these. And then maybe we could get a nice little scalp on a 3-minute. To at least the high of day. But if you're looking to like trade a 3-minute entry right now, you'll be trading a candle 5, right? Because you candle 2 right here, candle 3 right here, candle 4 right here. Well, this is candle 5, and after 4 continuous candles of expansion, you're probably going to get a new phase of price, and that's kind of what we're seeing here at the open. At least so far. Yeah, that's a good question. How late? Generally, like, let's say, like for instance, right here, I was still, if I was looking to long for some reason and we closed above like this series of down close candles, we're about halfway through it, I would still look to long, right? But if we have like, if we're like 75% through, maybe not, unless there's like a swing point, right? Unless we were just consolidating like for most of the candle, and then towards the end we like swept the low, closed above, and then we have like a few minutes left before the new candle. What you can do is you can just wait until the new candle opens and just enter right off the open, with the idea that that protected swing has already formed and you can use it as your stop, right? So that's like a positional entry versus waiting for the candle to open, letting the wick form, then hopping in after it does. If you think the next candle is just going to open and run, like here, basically, it just opened and ran, you can just hop in right at the open. But it kind of just depends on the price action, right? And how the day is played out so far. But generally, like, if we're close to the end of like a high time frame candle, then I'll probably just wait until the new one opens. For those of you who trade the 1 minute, 15-minute candle 2 closure here to the downside, but in all honesty, like the structure's still bullish unless you were looking to trade YM off the weakness. I'm really interested to see how we hit this 30-minute here. This 30-minute gap. Which would be this low right here. But see how this candle, like, is putting in this long wick here? And if we do close down here, back inside the range, off this high, that's a reversal candle, right? So I wouldn't want to trade that. I want to trade the candle following that. Because expansion candles have small wicks. Reversal candles have long wicks. Like, think about the days that have nice one-sided expansion, right? They have small wicks compared to the bodies, right? But these days that reverse, they have long wicks. Right? We reverse off this low. And so you're seeing that here. Let's peep over at metals real quick. Gold hasn't hit that high. I feel like there's maybe SMT. No SMT. Okay. I'm not interested in trading any of this until we hit one side of the range. Silver. Kind of selling off. Oil. Not really doing much. Kind of just end this. Probably sweep this low, at least. I don't really trade Forex intraday, but this kind of looks like in NASDAQ, doesn't it? Not liking that one FEG short. One what? Yeah, look at that reaction. Little POI here on YM, but nothing really over here on the 15-minute or 5. See, that's why I don't like trading. You could easily pattern trade this model, right? Off this 15-minute closure. Look to trade 1 minute lower, but you're forgetting where we're at in the higher time frame of things, right? What's the higher time frame structure like? I don't see any damn, what kind of, that's 120 handles so far in about 3 minutes. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Shit ain't playing. Like me personally, if I had taken this long right here, say I was in, right? I got in like on the open. 2 R's here, right? But once I get my 2R, and it kind of hits this projection almost, I'm going break even, right? So I would have been stopped out here. This thing's moving now. Someone flipped a switch. Who pressed the button? Has anyone taken any trades yet? Any losses? Any wins? Anyone pushed the button so far? Yeah, no trades yet. Waiting for 10 a.m. 8 minutes till 10. Took a short off the gap fill. So off here. Basically. Remember I talked about, let's see. Talked about targets, right? These, up close candles here with this 50% of the previous day. You just hit that. Which also happens to be that gap fill that Perry's talking about. Right? Just filled that gap here. So, no trades yet. Waiting till 10. Sitting on my hands. Let's see. South Africa, nice, man. I mean, you better have this also electronic hours gap fill. We're close to it, right? They closed here. Open down here. I'm gonna retrace this whole move now. There's gold, right? Just swept that high. Off that pump. I don't know if someone tweeted something or what. I pulled up news. I couldn't see anything. Oh, here we go. This is probably what it was. Iranian officials are studying abandoning uranium enrichment as a U.S. condition for ending the war. And that's like what it was all about, right? That's what they say. It was like they're trying to get a nuke. So if they stop doing, I mean, who knows? It's probably because of oil. But who knows? If this is true, and that, I mean, it could be why you're seeing the pump, right? Certainty back into the market. Oil, let's see what oil's doing. Down. Right. Down off that news. I don't know. I don't know if I'm looking for shorts because of this right here. But who knows? This doesn't even really mean much, right? It's just them saying, hey, we're thinking about this. They can come out tomorrow and say, hey, we're thinking about something else now. But if you're, obviously we're trading short term, so. I'm very interested to see, though. God, I wish we had done, at least came into this imbalance here. Right? So if the 1 hour does give us a trade at 10, I'd probably like to target this high than these if we do continue to expand, right? But like, think about it. We swept these lows. Daily imbalance right here. I was gonna get like a 5-minute entry. When this candle closes, we're gonna get 10 a.m. So I want to see us maybe dip into here. ICT might be streaming, but your stream's way calmer. Appreciate it. I haven't watched an ICT video in years. Because at a certain point, you kind of know everything you need to know to be profitable, right? Now it's just a matter of implementing it. Yeah, if you want, I can start screaming at you guys and talking about how you don't know my concepts. Does he still say that? You don't know. It's like, yeah, we do. You've made the 1,000-hour videos on, on everything. I don't see much. 10 a.m. coming up. 1 minute. 1 minute. I mean, I don't see any reason to short any of this. Indice wise. Four-hour. I mean, pretty much back and have retraced. Filled in most of this gap here. YM. Yo, guys, cup and handle. Gold. We'll monitor how gold closes off this high. And then pop over to indices as well. I think we're just gonna like keep moving. Alright, so candle 4 now. But like, for instance, if you think we're just gonna run at 10, right, and not form some kind of new swing if we're heading higher, protected swing. If there's already a protected swing like down here, like let's say this low is protected, you can just hop in right at the open, right? And look for like a 2R. That would be a positional entry. If you think we're just gonna open and run, super small wick and run. Cause see, we've already kind of formed this swing right here. But obviously, I'm not trying to like put my stop and have a 128 handle stop, That's why I really wish that like we had dipped into this here, because this would be a candle 2 closure then, and I can look for a 3-minute long. But we don't have that. Not on any of them. You do have like a 15-minute closure here, but there's no POI except for this down close candle again, right? The opening price. So you have one here on YM, but YM's the weakest one in my opinion. So it's like, is it even worth it to try and long it? That's up to you. But it's something to think about. So gold, kind of a nice closure there if you're looking for shorts, but it didn't close back inside the range. 30-minute did though. Just hasn't confirmed it yet. Hasn't closed below this opening price here. Oil. I don't really see much I could do about oil. I think indices are our best bet. Maybe gold if it closes below. Would be sick to get a long entry on something. You see, we've pushed past the ADR, right? That's why I kind of like, I don't add as much like weight to this right now as I would in the past, because we could easily just push past the daily range off a tweet. If you were short biased, I guess you're looking for this, how we react off this new high, right? We just swept this high, right? And you would be probably looking to trade candle 2 off this 4-hour high, off this 1-hour high. So you want to see it not really push higher than this. Probably close, down close candle. Yeah, you probably want to see it close back below these if you're looking for shorts. So quickly sweep out the previous 1-hour high, come back inside the range, close below, and that's when you'd want to look for shorts, right? But I'm not short biased, so. Yeah, a little 3-minute gap here. Down close candle, but you know, maybe on a 1 minute this would be a protected swing, but I don't go lower than 3 in these conditions. Yeah, 21 ADR. The nice thing about the 5 ADR is just like, oh, what would the past week do? You know, the past 5 trading days. Gold kind of looks like it wants to sell off. Ain't gonna lie. You got SMT at these highs. Right here. Euro gold, lower high. GBP gold, lower high. Silver's already, let's see. Kind of messy. This thing be looking like it kind of want to sell off. At least down to what? These lows? even if it is just in a range, right? What's it been doing? Been broadening this range. So you could take the play from external high back to external low because we just in this broadening of the range, right? We're consolidating, but if you're going to trade a consolidation, the opportunities are at the extremes, right? So we just hit one of the extremes, look to target the other side. It's just got a showing willingness that wants to do that. There's a high right here, and then here. But it's taking a sweet time now. I mean, it is a no news Monday. We've gapped down and we've kind of filled the gap, right? So if that's the objective for the day, probably not going to get much else. I mean, the only news that's high impact this week is tomorrow. PPI, 8:30. So we'll go live tomorrow as well. We'll go live tomorrow for that. Oh, we got to. It's the only news event. And then a few like medium impact stuff like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But once again, like you could even get in like a 1 hour entry right at 9 o'clock, you know, off this 1 hour candle if you're looking to trade that. Just the problem is I don't see any POI that I trade at least. Highs, lows, and fair value gaps. There's no low that we swept out off here. The only thing we've done is dig into this protected swing right here. Because it did hit a fair value gap, right? So that's that to me. Like I'm still deciding if I want to use this as another POI, right? An order block. But I'm kind of just needing. What I'm doing is like I'm doing some like forward testing and like watching these play out, right? Watching the reaction play out off these. Because in here, there's in this swing or in this series or this run here to the upside, there's no swing lows we've taken out, right? There's no fair value gap we've dug into. One thing we've done is hit these down close candles here. So that to me, if we have that, obviously if there's a fair value gap or a swing low, we took it out and we hit this opening price here, then that's like, oh, extra confluence. But I'm still trying to study like if these are reliable or not. There's no fair value gap or swing low in this run here that we sweep or dip into. Can I still count on this being a valid POI? And like so far today, the answer looked like it was yes. And you could even see maybe that was like consolidation, right? that we purged the lows, then went higher. See, it's not looking like gold wants to move lower now. It's just taking forever to close below this up close candle. All right, let's see. Remember I talked about on the 1 hour, you want to see how, if you were like looking to short, right? You want to see this take out, sweep the high real quick, and then come back in the range. You're still SMT at these highs here on the 1 hour. I'm not saying I'm looking for shorts. I'm just observing this. And then you'd want to see it close below, right? But you would be trading candle 2 then if you were looking to capture a short within this hour. What you didn't want this thing to do if you were looking for shorts would be push really high, you know, past this previous 1 hour high and create a long wick, right? Because then it would be a reversal candle and it'd have to close back down here. But since we have a small wick so far, we'll be sick is if we have a minute left until this 15-minute candle closes. Put in a little fair value gap here. You know? Dip into that. And then the 15-minute candle closes above. Maybe go higher. And you could long off like a 15-minute, 4-hour continuation. Let's see. Because like this was we took out London low here. So if you disregard Asia, right, and the gap down, all that kind of like nonsense, this does kind of look like AMD, where fake out to the upside, purge the highs, come down, purge the lows, then you have the true move. So here's that 15-minute imbalance that I was talking about, just formed. All right, what's the volume? Oh, wait. What's the volume? So 40% at 10:15. It's a Monday. No news. So now, obviously, you want to see this hold, right? For more continuation to the upside. We don't. God, why is it so messy? Like 5 minute mess compared to at least some kind of nice clean moves on ES and Q. That's what I'm saying. Like the war news is just like annoying because maybe it was planning on going back to that 30-minute FVG, right? It gets close and then tweet comes out, just pushes it higher. I mean, we're about to disrespect this 3-minute imbalance right here. Right, we're about to close outside of that here. A whole lot of back and forth. Yeah, let's watch this 15-minute candle. I'm locked in. Seeing how it respects the midline of it. Uh-oh. I think my camera is about to die. Yeah, it just died. All right, we're going to continue the stream without camera. I forgot to charge it last night. Apologies. So you won't be able to see my beautiful face. How's the quality in the stream so far? Is my mic should be sound a little bit cleaner, a little bit better. Got the booster on there. Yeah, follow my voice. Follow my cursor. All right, so look, see? Look at the reaction off that 15-minute gap. Crispy. The U.S. has begun its block of the Hormuz Strait as of 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to block all the ships entering or leaving the strait. There you go. Going to block all ships entering or leaving the strait, with an exception of vessels heading for non-Iranian ports. So we're blocking everything. So we're blocking all Iranian vessels, and everything else can come through. The thing is about these 15-minute trades, sometimes they just take forever to play out. Like 4 15-minute candles is an hour. And when it's not moving quick. My favorite is when you get a 15-minute entry before New York Open. And then you just kind of hold through the open. What am I using for news updates? Twitter. I have a feed. There's the pro.x.com. I just have a market news list with a few accounts like Walter Bloomberg and Fast Talker Market News. I think it's just those two accounts. But I can come up here and I can hit clear posts and it removes all the stuff I've already seen. Oh, and B&O news. But I just get it coming through in real time. That's the cool thing about trading. It's funny, when I lived like back home with my parents and I was first started trading, I still use these feeds. But I would like see the news playing out on like in the market in real time. But everything that's coming through, it's like unbiased. Like it's not, there's no spin on it. You're just seeing like exactly what's happening. Like, and if it is like someone saying something, not just a fact, it'll be like Trump, and they'll have the colon. Like, this is what he's saying. But everything's like just straight facts. There's no like left wing, right wing spin on it. And so I would go and like sit down at night after like dinner and like watch the news with my parents because they watch it every night after work. And I would see how like the broadcasters would try and spin it. And it's kind of hilarious. And they'd be like, "Oh, they were like, "Oh, wow." And I'm like, "I already heard about all this stuff today." Like as it was happening, all the stuff they would talk about in the headlines. Especially about like the Ukraine war stuff, because that was like back in 2022. Back over here, right? All this fun moves. You'd hear like a lot of like, "Oh, this is good, this is bad," online. Or sorry, on the news. But online, you're just getting straight facts of like what happened. I play for premium. Yeah, I guess it comes with like I have the verification on my profile on X, so I guess I get access to the premium. I also get access to like Super Grok, like basically their version of ChatGPT. But I don't pay for like any news service. I just use Forex Factory and use Forex Factory and um the tweet feed. Pretty much it. Mm-mm-mm. Why looks kind of like trash. It's so funny how like the moves are clean and then the market opens and it just turns into like ass. Also, another thing that's cool about getting it on like there's no POI like for you to enter off this, right? There's no low being swept. There's no fair value gap dipped into. Same with NQ here. Yeah. T trades, no cam. I'm kind of just watching this gap on the 5-minute now. With keeping in mind that we've also just hit a 15-minute gap. But I like how we respected the upper half of this 15-minute. The cool thing about getting it on like a 15-minute before the open is you can like squeeze your RR, meaning like there's low volatility before the market opens. So the price action is usually pretty clean and not as the swing points aren't as large. And you can get in with a really good RR because you're getting in when there's like no volatility really. And then 9:30 comes around, you know, it runs in your favor if you're right, and the trade plays out, and the RR is pretty good. That's one of the reasons why I like the 15-minute entries too before they open. Hmm. Not much to do. Watch the slow grind up. It's 10:30. What's gold doing? So yeah, gold back to the other side of the range, where we talked about the broadening formation, or just like broadening of the range. If you're gonna trade a consolidation, you want to wait for externals to be hit, right? And target the other side. It's not that clean of a move. I don't even see where I would have gotten in. Because we didn't even confirm this closure until this candle here, close below. But there's no protected swing to even enter off of for a continuation down. Anyone do anything fun this past weekend? Any fun plans this week? Besides trying to make some money? Gambling in this casino? Oh yeah, that festival is this week. Coachella. I've actually never been to Coachella. I'm not a big festival guy. It's gonna sound like super like it's gonna sound like super like not stuck up's not the right word. But like I only enjoy going to like the festivals. The reason I don't like them is because I don't like being in a crowd of like a bunch of people like all jumping around like running into me and stuff. Like packed like sardines, I'm not claustrophobic. It's just I don't like being in a crowd like that. I really only enjoy like festival stuff like that when you have like a table or like a VIP like section you kind of just sit down at and like listen to the music and like you're with your friends. I watched the Masters. That was fun. Rory hit that thing in. Little two putt to win. Tap in. So that was fun. Masters. Here comes gold. I'm saying you can kind of get an idea of like what the market wants to do, but if it doesn't give you an entry, you just watch. But at least your analysis is like on point. Yeah, like 15-minute candle. We didn't close above this one though, right? So like I wouldn't enter off a 15-minute. I'm thinking technically on if we close back, right? If we close back below the low of Friday's low, right here, close back inside the range here, then this would be a candle through closure. So you could look for the next day to respect 50% of this candle and go higher, right? And that would give us bias for the next couple of days. Gold had a decent entry in the 1 minute. Yeah, I'm just not a 1 minute guy. It, yeah, like 15-minute long wick here. And then let's see. Let's play out. Let's look at the other daily charts. Metals, silver, oil. It'd be sick if, I mean, we're already digging into this daily imbalance here on oil. Okay. If you think about it, we've disrespected this imbalance here. So we're digging into both those. I don't know if we're going to close below this candle's high. But just the fact that if we put in a nice little reversal looking candle off this imbalance could give you some bias maybe to go target these daily lows that are kind of equal here and here. On the hourly, it looks like this. So fill in some of this gap, target these equal lows. That seems pretty clean to me. If you're looking for like some kind of short on oil. So we'll keep that drawn. I can look at that tonight to remind myself. But that's all I'm really seeing. I don't really have an opinion on gold, except for the fact that we're still respecting this. Kind of took out the swing here. So I don't expect this to come back up to here if we're going to sell off and take out this low. Because like this looks like a day where we just went up, filled the gap for the most part. And then head lower. But it's just looking like a slow day. Yeah, some SMT at these highs now. Wait, what's the high? The high is 6150. Never mind, these are equal highs, exactly. Not much to look at. This looks like buns. But once again, I appreciate you guys stopping in. If you're enjoying the stream, drop a like. Feel free to hit the subscribe button if you want to get alerted for when I do go live in the future. #8 April daily candle. Yeah. I mean, this could be your consolidation range. I'm just looking at gold off the weekly here, right? The balance, the displacement down, Slow kind of like retracement up into the imbalance. Closing back inside the range here on the weekly. Daily, you see the monthly is a candle 2 closure, respecting the 50% of the previous month so far. Had a daily, bearish close here, and it kind of looks like we were kind of rolling over a bit. Right? Close back below, kind of rolling over a bit. Then we gap down. So we filled that gap back in. Maybe it wants to roll over again now. Some lows down here. We'll just have to see how it plays out. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like most people, they see this chop on the 5 minute, they want to go 3 minute. They want to go 1 minute. I'm gonna bump up. 15 minute looks the cleanest. And if like if the 5 minutes looking choppy, like let me go to the 15. If the 15 minutes choppy, let me go to the 30 real quick. Let me see what the 1 hour is doing. And if those are looking choppy, then I probably shouldn't even be watching the charts. Yeah, we did like 45% of the average volume for the past 20 days. And it's like 10:40. Just a no news Monday with a gap down. Yeah. When in doubt, zoom out. Daily range. Yeah, we've done almost 90% average daily range for the last 5 days. So I don't expect too much unless there's some news, right? But you can't predict that. So you just have to go off what I just delete. You have to go off what's available to you, right? Unless you're like insider trading. Do you guys enjoy the streams without music or with music? I know I haven't played music yet, but I could find some like royalty free stuff. I think classical music is like all royalty free. At least the popular ones are. Because like without, you can play your own music and what you enjoy. I used to listen to like music, like rap. I used to listen to um like I listen to everything really, but I used to listen to like like aggressive, like angry music, like rap talking about killing people, like shooting people, like doing drugs, like whatever. Puts you like in a bad like frame of mind, honestly, to like trade. Maybe like once I'm in a trade and it's moving in my favor, then I'll cut it on. When I'm about to take TP, when we're about to take profit, then I'll maybe throw on some rap. Yeah, jazz is good. I like listening to like classical music. Apple Music is what I use. They have a bunch of like classical, like chill, focus playlists. I'm sure Spotify does too. That's like proven like scientifically to keep you focused. So yeah, anything like without words, honestly, or sometimes like country or like house music. But oh shit, wrong thing. Hand pan? What is hand pan? God, this is just like consolidating at this point. Here's your external low and external high. $15-minute FEG is a POI. Like, if there was a POI right here on a 5-minute, I wouldn't take this long. If we close above here, I wouldn't take that. If this was a protected low, if there was like a fair value gap we dipped into and close above here, normally you would put your stop here, enter here, fix 2R here, right? But the fact it's taken 1, 2, 3, 4. If it closed here, 5 candles to close above, I wouldn't long that. I want to see it happen within like 2 or 3. Like that V-shaped recovery almost. Would I use a 15-minute fair value gap as a POI? Yeah, if I was trading a 15-minute entry, like here. Like, see how if we close above here. So, like, in my opinion, if this 15-minute candle closed above here, this opening price, on any other day, if it was earlier in the morning, I'd probably take this entry, right? I'd probably do something like this. 61 handle stop. It's just, I don't know if there's any, we don't have enough juice in the tank, in my opinion, to run another 0.5%, another 123 handles, unless some kind of news thing comes out, right? Because we're not really moving with any speed, right? It's kind of lethargic. And it's a no news Monday, right? We've already kind of ran to the ADR high. We're about 90% done on average. So that's why it's kind of nice to have these tools to give you an overview of what the day's done already. You can kind of go and be like, okay, it's late in the morning. Yes, there's a little like 15-minute kind of swing protected low forming, but we've already kind of filled in this gap. So no news Monday. We're 90% done with the the ADR for the last 5 days. So like, is it worth trying to long up here? Probably not. Unless I keep like, but that's the thing. Like, I don't want to count on news events for my trade to work out. You know, because now I'm trading the news, and if you trade the news, you're probably going to end up delivering it. Get it? You're delivering newspapers. Because you lose all your money. So like there, like close or above, you would enter here, stop here. But I'm not using a 15-minute POI for a 5-minute entry. Does that make sense? I want to enter on the 15-minute. Otherwise, if I want to enter on a 5-minute, I need a 5-minute POI for price to dip into. And look, like this 5-minute candle 4 T-spot that we're in right here, we only have 15 minutes left. We only have 3 more 5-minute candles before we get a new hourly candle. So this candle 4 didn't do much yet. I mean, it could easily in the next 5 minutes just spike for some reason, but hasn't done much. And it hasn't even closed above these down close candles here. So SMT now, highs. I mean, YM just took out this high now. Pre-market high. What is that, London high? No, that's part of New York. So, yeah, I wouldn't be looking to long this 15-minute. just with how slow it's moving. There's no news Monday. 90% of the ADR. We just hit a POI on YM. And we're close to like getting a new hourly candle. You get long on the YM on 1 minute a few minutes ago and got torched by the 1 minute down candle. Yeah, man. I just try and stay off the 1 minute in these conditions at least. If we ever got back to like we're in this mess, once we get some like nice one-sidedness, you know, we're not in this like chop. We're kind of have some one-sidedness here, but most of this has been driven by news. Like most of this has been overnight stuff, right? And then chop during the morning. So it's tough. Like if we ever get back to like 2022 action, like these days, yeah, I might have to go back on the 1 minute. But really all I want to see from today is we're kind of getting close to like 11. Really all I want to see from today now is us candle 2 closure off Friday's low here. So we can get more upside into all these highs. Maybe even eventually up here. So that's kind of what I want to see going into tomorrow and rest of the week. Because if we get that candle 2 closure, that gives us bias for tomorrow, Tuesday. Gives us bias for Wednesday. Yeah, dude. But look at these. Let me just hide everything. Just look at the price action without any filters or any indicators or anything. Like weekly doji, weekly doji, weekly doji, weekly doji. Like, just, not even doji, just long wicks. So how the hell? Like now we're starting to get some, you know, one-sidedness on the weekly, right? But most of these moves have happened overnight, so you couldn't capture them. Back over here with the tariff situation, when Trump was imposing those tariffs, market sold off, right? Rebounded. But you were getting some one-sidedness, and the weekly candles were tradable. Like, they're easy reads. You could use the weekly profiles to get a confirmation on your bias to give you some more confluence. But when you have weeks like this, where it's just back and forth, a slow, almost like back and forth grind with no continuation down, it's a tough read. So technically, like I would want to see this low hold. The problem is though, on the 4 hour, right? You're trading this 4 hour candle 3 right here. And you're letting the wick form trying to trade the body. The problem is though, on the 4 hour, this candle 2 closure here, there's no POI that it tapped into, right? There's no low that it swept, no swing low that this candle came down and swept, right? There's no fair value gap here. So that's like whereas this one, for example, swept a low, right? It came back and closed back inside. Candle 2 closure, candle 3 continuation, candle 4 continuation, right? This one hasn't done that, right? It doesn't look quality at all. And that's another reason why don't want to take this 15-minute entry. Combine that with the ADR already being pretty much 90%, lethargic PA, no news Monday. It just doesn't make any sense. Get YM, that's the POI for it. The POI for the 4 hour or 15-minute? I guess there's like a little gap here, right? But even then, like, I don't know. It's just so, it's just not clean. Like, it's just not jumping off the chart at me. Like, my gut is telling me to stay out, right? It could easily kind of just grind up and get a 2R, but I'll just wait for the candle closure on the daily tomorrow. Sorry, wait for the candle closure on the daily today, and then just look to trade the rest of the week higher. If we are gonna expand out of this daily imbalance right here. Gold still hasn't taken the range low yet. Yeah, the structure looks good. It's just the range already being like met, right? We've kind of expanded, in my opinion, for the day, but you never know. News could change that. I just hate being in those trades that are like slow grinds up because all it takes is one little statement to like knife it. And like, yeah, being aggressive because like in these conditions with all the news driven market that we're in and the tweets coming out and the bombs being dropped, like who knows, right? Other countries are doing things, not just us. So it's I'm trying to be in trades as little for the least amount of time possible. That makes sense. So if we're not moving quickly, now I can, and if I'm gonna take a trade, it's probably gonna play out over like 4 hours. Combine that with the ADR being reached almost. Just not really a day that I want to participate. We just hit this high though, right? And we just actually filled in electronic trading hours gap from the closing price on Friday to the opening price here. We just hit that. Unless we did it here too. That's the high. Yeah. So let's watch. Let's see how YM's trying to kind of sell off a little bit after that. What's up, Prince? Yeah, go back and you can kind of listen to my thoughts around the open on how I thought that today was going to play out. I've also thought about making some like videos the night before the stream and like my analysis for the morning. Like here's what I see so far from today. Here's my bias for tomorrow on these assets. Like a watch list almost with some analysis tied in. Like this is what I want to see happen overnight. And then if it does, this is how I'm going to trade it the next morning. And then if you can watch that video, then we can sit down on the streams the next day, see how the overnight session played out, and go from there. That's what I used to do, like with the people I worked with one-on-one. I would send them in like post-market, pre-market, whatever you want to call it, analysis the night before or even the morning of. Send them a video directly to their phone that we were all on the same page, but we're not sitting here like live trading together, right? they would have to push the button on their own. Gross. Oil? Nothing? Now you got SMT at these lows on gold. So looks like the indices want to push higher. But it's almost 11. We're about to get a new hourly candle in the next 2 minutes. Let's see what it does. 30-minute. We're starting to kind of expand a little bit. At the same time, sweeping out this high. So let's see how this 15-minute closes. The new 11 a.m. candle. Yeah, would you long the on the 5-minute, 3-minute? Would you get it on? You're like 95% ADR. Yeah. So basically just this. Stop here. Or maybe you had to stop somewhere else. That's where I would put it. But to get a 2R, you'd have to come up to like the -2, pretty much. It's in a deviation. Yeah. Delivery's ass-tastic. I've never heard that word in my life before. Yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting my stop on the bodies because that's so tight. Or this low here. You can maybe get away with like right at the 50% of the wick, but I want to give it a chance to like dip down into the fair value gap once it closes above, like maybe one last time into this wick a little bit, then maybe go higher, you know? So I wouldn't want to jam my stop super tight on this. So it's 11 o'clock now. Let's see. My ass would be at break even right now. And I'd probably be like getting pissed. Not getting pissed. But like, damn, what did I expect? You know? There's no imbalances in here at all except for this one. But honestly, like I'd be more than break even. I'd be like a little bit higher because of spread and commissions. So I probably would be stopped out break even by now. So I'm saying like it's not even worth it. Like book it. Digging into like these. When you're journaling a trade Zella, when it comes to tracking risk, like how do you journal? Like half risk trade? 1 hour is just whatever you risked on the trade. So like let's say you risk 10 grand on a trade. and you took a 5K loss on the trade instead. You got negative half R. But if you're full risk, like if you're planning to risk like 10K and you lost 10K in the trade, that's just negative 1R. Because R isn't about money. R is about like on that trade, what did you risk? Does that make sense? Because like money's relative to your account size. Like someone who trades $100 million portfolio, they could be risking like, 100,000 on a trade, right? Let's say they're taking like 1R trades and they make 1R on a trade. But I'm taking 2R trades and I'm risking like 10K on a trade. And I get 2R. Maybe I made 2R that month. I perform better than that guy who has 100 million. He might have made 100K that month, right? And I made 10K that month, but I still performed better than he did because I made 2R. He made 1R that month. So R is just like the language that like we talk when discussing. Like when I'm talking with another guy, I don't care how much money he made. I want to know what his R return was, or So R is just how many risk units. Like last month, I returned 5.7R. So that means for every dollar I risked, I made 5.7 that month. So if you're doing 10K per trade, that's $57,000 last month. $1,000 per trade, that's $5,700 that month. We'll give it a little bit, but yeah, I'd be break even, and I would have been stopped out by now on this 15-minute entry, right? Because I would have entered here. Stop here. I'm thinking the day's just like done. I don't think we're gonna do much. As long as no bombs get dropped or ships get blown up. Just hit a high. Fill it in the gaps. Now we need to see how today closes. But I mean, I'll give it a little bit more. Because we could do something interesting off these highs. We could do something interesting. Gold almost to that low. That broadening look, right? Just making higher highs, lower lows. Boom, there it is. Bang. Guess if you really wanted, here, enter, like so, right? Off a limit, off the closure, whatever. That's not even a 2R. The bodies. Well, that's gold for you. Generally, like, I don't want to enter in the middle of the range, though, right? You want to enter at 50%. I like to enter like somewhere around here. It's just, it was really messy up here. And you really didn't even get a protected swing to form until down here at 50% of the range. Yeah, this is looking kind of like not a barcode, but it's a slow move higher. Why I'm selling off. And Q staying strong. So far. So now you're watching these gaps right here to see what happens. There's a hold. Right? But even if we sold off, right, and close below these up close candles here, there's no 30-minute swing to trade from. There's no 5-minute, hourly high purge yet. We're still inside this hourly candle. YM would be like my interest if I was looking for shorts. Because you do have a decent amount of like player swings, right? Hmm. So they're gonna block all Iranian vessels through the strait. Oil's kind of retracing off that news. Yeah, there's nothing really here for me to trade. Right? Kind of watch the gold move play out off the consolidation, right? Broadening it. Watch that play out. NASDAQ, right? Remember I said at the beginning, gun to my head, if I had to choose, I'd choose long because we've swept these lows. Right? We have a gap to fill. We've been filling it. Also, 4-hour candle 4 weekly, right? To the upside. And the daily, we hit this POI. So that was why I was long biased in the morning. Just to give a recap. Obviously wasn't looking to trade. Or I was looking to trade, but just really didn't see anything I liked because... Sorry. Because of the No News Monday, right? The lack of energy in price action. Right? The delivery's kind of shit. So... that was this morning. I think what I'm going to do is probably call it here. It's 11:11. Probably hit the gym. See how we close tonight. Right? Off this imbalance. Off this previous day low. If we close back above the low, that's a candle 2 closure. That'll give us bias for tomorrow. Tuesday. And Wednesday at least. for higher prices. Because this right here, you can see it's already marking it out. This would be your confirmation, right? This down close candle. So the weekly profile will be what? At least get us to Wednesday, right? And then on Wednesday, it would just be, if we did reverse on Wednesday, a midweek reversal, right? Which I don't think would happen. It could. Or just a classic expansion week where Monday or Tuesday makes the low of the week and we just expand throughout it. Maybe get a TGIF set up on Friday. So that's how I'm seeing it. I don't know about you guys, but hope you enjoyed the stream. Probably call it here. Gonna hit the gym. I think the day's kind of already played out, unless some more news drops. But I'm not looking to hope for news to push price in my favor. We'll call it here. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Drop a like if you like the video. Helps me out in the world of algorithms and YouTube and all that. Lets me know I'm doing a good job. But 2, if you enjoyed your time, it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button. I'll announce. I'll get you get alerts when I go live, and then I'll make sure to have my camera charged up tonight, and we'll have a full on stream tomorrow with high impact news at 8:30. So, thanks for stopping by. Catch you guys later. Peace.